everybody, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. My name is Brian Kelly, and we have another fantastic show for you today. And beside me, you can't see them, but you'll see them in a minute. I have some guests here. I have Maureen Ellis, and I have Gerry McGrath. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
Gerry?
Thank you, Brian.
Gerry's
Thank you
from
for having me.
Tipperary, he tells me. Can you sing, Gerry?
No singing, Brian.
No singing. We're here because we want to talk. You can see some pictures behind us, behind them there, and we're here to talk about the St. Roch Haiti Foundation. It's part of the Global Outreach Ministry of St. Agatha's Church in Milton, Massachusetts. And Gerry and Maureen found this organization and supporting this organization dear to their hearts. And you've both been to Haiti, I believe?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about Haiti. We're going to talk about what the St. Roch Haiti Foundation has been doing for many of the children in Haiti. And we're going to talk about a fundraiser that's coming up at the Neighborhood Club in Quincy on February 7th. And we have some tickets. The tickets are $100 per person, which includes a light buffet and a raffle ticket. They're only selling 500 tickets. And that's because that place won't hold more than 500 people. And so, hey, let's talk about Haiti. Let's talk about, I mean, it's been 3 years since the earthquake. But I believe you were telling me that this foundation has been around since before the earthquake. Is that correct?
The foundation was established in 2002 by Ralph Stowe, and he's a person who lives in Hull. And he saw the need and decided that he would establish, I think first he wanted to establish an orphanage. But then when he talked to the people in the community, they felt what the greater need in the community was for a health clinic. And so he changed his mind. And working with the community, he established a clinic. And the clinic opened in November.
Is he a doctor?
No, he's not. He actually was a vocational teacher in the Boston Public Schools.
Okay.
And so he would go down to Haiti for several years prior to even opening up the clinic to build shelves and do work like that in Haiti because he was a teacher and he had the summers off.
Okay.
So he'd take summers in Haiti and do work at an orphanage in Port-au-Prince.
So he started building the St. Roch, is it called the St. Roch Clinic? Or what do they call it? It's called St. You say it's in the mountainous part of Haiti?
Yes, it's outside of Port-au-Prince.
And it wasn't damaged during the earthquake 3 years ago?
The clinic itself was not damaged. The St. Roch Church, which was a little bit further up the mountain, was damaged, and also the St. Roch School. And the students are still attending school in a temporary shelter.
Oh, I see, okay.
So the school has been condemned.
And I'm reading the ticket here. It says Advancing Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health. So tell us what that means, and it sounds like you're focusing on just on the youngest of the population there.
Well, you know, you understand poverty here in the United States. But
I don't know if I understand. I don't know if most of us understand poverty.
Well,
we've been pretty fortunate, haven't we?
We have been very fortunate here in Milton, absolutely. And in other areas, even in the state of Massachusetts, there's a lot of poverty. But the poverty in Haiti is matched by none because there is no infrastructure at all. The government doesn't have roads, doesn't have hospitals, doesn't have public schools. There is no water source. There is no electricity.
Those things are overrated. You know?
Well, I don't know. It depends.
And you went down there, didn't you?
Yes.
And did you bring your iPhone with you or whatever?
Nope. And it was nice to be unplugged.
But then again, she doesn't have any. She only has 4 friends on Facebook.
So very true. So very true. And I think they're all Haitian. So there you go.
And they don't have any electricity.
Right. Right. So it really is a different world. It is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And it's beyond poor, even before the earthquake. You would drive through Port-au-Prince and the sewage would be running down the street. Fires would be burning to get rid of debris. And right beside it, someone would be selling fresh produce. So it's not like anything you've ever seen, even if you've visited Honduras or, another country in Central America. Haiti is a different level of poor.
How did St. Agatha's get involved with this particular mission?
There was there is a woman, Catherine Liberlease is a nurse at Mass General Hospital. and she's also is a parishioner at St. Agatha Parish. And she went down on one of the first medical outreach trips to St. Roch. And while she was there, she was so inspired that she came back and she talked with Father Casey about it. And in 2006, Father Casey made his first trip to St. Roch. And then it was shortly thereafter that it became the focus of the St. Agatha Global Outreach Ministry
Did he use
program.
the power of the pulpit?
No. Nope. He just had to tell one or two stories in small groups. I think I
Wow, isn't that
actually
great,
heard
huh?
him talking about it at a different, at a function, as opposed to
Wow, okay.
as opposed to a Sunday homily.
Interesting. Now you get this gentleman beside you, a lost soul from Tipperary. Gerry, how did you come to get involved with this St. Roch
Well, Brian,
Medical Center?
the last few years, I've been involved with the fundraiser at St. Agatha's, and this past November was my first trip to Haiti, and it was quite an experience. It really was. As we drove through Port-au-Prince, coming from the airport and about to go up the mountain, it was amazing. It just suddenly struck me about how there's still so much poverty in the world in this day and age. And being in a country like Haiti for the very first time and never been exposed to this, it was really a real eye-opener. And it was an amazing trip, it really was. And you know, that's how, being involved in it for the last few years, the hunger was there to actually go and see what it was about. And it was very impressive at how the clinic was run and how it was so well organized. And to see the people coming and lining up at the clinic from 4:30 a.m. in the morning, and some of them having walked for hours to get there. And being there to be seen by the medical team that were part of our group and the medical team that are there, it was amazing. It was a tremendous, tremendous experience.
Now, what's your background, Gerry?
Well, I'm an electrician and I've got my own electrical business, and I've been here in the States. My wife, myself, came here 26 years ago, and I've been an electrician all my life. I trained to be an electrician in Ireland, and you know, over the years, we decided that when the kids were younger, it was harder to get involved and to give back. But in the last couple of years, we have really realized that now is the time for us to give back. And I think it has been the St. Roch Foundation, hearing about it for the last 10 years, and being involved in the fundraising of it for the last 4 or 5 years. It is an amazing organization. And to know that there's so much need still there. A lot of things have got accomplished in the last few years.
So tell us some of the needs of the clinic now.
Well, for example, this year, the event this year is focusing on maternal, newborn and child health. And an example of that is where the need is there for that is what I saw last November when we were there. A mother with her 4-week-old twins, after walking for hours to get there, a boy and a girl weighing 4 pounds each. Another mother with her year-old child weighing 8 pounds.
A year old.
A year old. So this is why the importance of the clinic and what the clinic is trying to accomplish and focusing on for this coming year. You know, and these are 2 examples that I saw firsthand myself, that what the needs are. And really this event has to be a success to make this happen for the kids that are there.
So their dollars go far in Haiti, don't they?
Absolutely. Every dollar goes a long, long way. And the more we can raise with this event, the more that we can do, and the more the foundation can do. And it has always been greatly supported for the last few years. And I ask everybody to please come out now and continue with your wonderful support for this event. You know, the money goes a long way. It's not like that it's a big organization. It's a small organization. Great things are done with so little.
The people here watching the show, you folks can make a difference. Everyone can make a difference.
We hope so, Brian.
Absolutely.
We hope so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not just one or two people. This is a team effort by everybody that supports it and gets involved.
Does it make you appreciative of what you have after you go to a place like Haiti?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do we take a lot for granted?
We sure do. We sure do. Being down there for that week was actually a wonderful experience in the sense of a big eye-opener to me. Being there, no TV, no radio, no cell phone.
I'm not going.
We were totally, you know.
You'd be
Yeah,
surprised.
you would be
You
surprised.
would really be surprised. The first time I went in 2007, and it was at the urging of my son Josh, who was 13 at the time. He saw a little article in the St. Agatha Bulletin and said, "Mom, I think we'd like to do this." And I said,
Those
"Well,"
ads work.
I said, "You know what? I think I'd like to find out more." And we went, and a very similar story to Gerry's first experience. We came up the mountain after having been through Port-au-Prince, and we walked up the last probably mile and a half because we were going to be energetic. And we'd walk in, and a baby had just been born, and this baby was healthy and wonderful. 2 days later, there was a baby who, I shouldn't say baby, a 3-year-old child, but she only weighed 15 pounds.
3 years.
Yes.
And what was the normal weight for a 3-year-old child, would you say?
I'm saying about 30 pounds at least. And she was there with her mother, and she came into the clinic, and thank you God that Father Casey was there, because Father Casey was able to give this child the last rites. But she died. She didn't die of a horrific disease. She did not die of a birth defect. She died of malnutrition and worms. It makes you really feel how important it is for us to help, because no child here in the United States would die of worms because the only meal they have is dirt. It just doesn't happen,
the
dirt, because they have nothing else. And to see hunger that then prevents a child from developing normally, so that then they can't progress in school, and then you see there aren't any public schools, so you need to find sponsors so that a child can actually go to school.
So you have some people in Milton are sponsoring some children in Haiti right now through
Yes,
this?
through this foundation.
So St. Roch Haiti Foundation also helps coordinate people who want to sponsor a child? Is
Yes,
that correct?
yes.
So you're not going through any other agency? It's a direct kind of a thing?
And it's interesting because
I see
it's
that on your
$20
late night television, you see those ads for
right.
sponsor a child, and this is a little different than that?
This is a little different. It costs a little less because there aren't any administrative fees associated with it, but it's $20 a month to sponsor a child. That $20 comes to me, gets wired to Haiti, and is given to the mother of that child.
And what will they do with that $20?
They will pay
that
for
mother
tuition.
Of that child. What do they get for their $20?
They will pay for tuition and books and a uniform, and then have money left over for food. Tuition for a child in Haiti is $85 a year, but they can't afford it. They have nothing. We also try by having microloan programs where we give women small amounts of money, and it's predominantly women. There are some men.
You don't give it to men. You can't trust men with money.
You know, it's been found that the microloans to the women are more successful, but probably the men would do just as well. But
And so what are some of the businesses that they've created?
It's mostly agro-business, where they go up further up into the mountains or into the farmlands and buy produce from a farmer, and then go to the city of Port-au-Prince and stand on the street corner and sell that. So they make enough money for sustenance, not to thrive, not to better their lives, not to educate their children, but just enough to subsist. So it's fascinating when you look at it from an MBA perspective. And I was like looking at these microloan programs and saying, well, this is just not a good idea. It's not enough money. It's not going to do this. It's not going to do that. But it works to just sustain the population. But it's a long way to go. It's a long way to go.
It's a long
how
way
did we
to
know this
Tipperary. Come on.
We know this was going to happen.
Sure is. It sure
I
is.
can tell.
sure
I
is.
can tell this has had an impact on your lives. I mean, you can just hear it in your voices, and it's just, you know, you can make someone cry. I mean,
You know?
you have some pictures. I know Mike Lynch in the studio there. Can you put up some of the pictures, because you know some people are visual. You know what I mean, and they want to see what's really going on. Let's see some of the shots. Is someone in there? Tell us what are we looking at here now?
This particular picture is a one taken at the orphanage in St. Roch, and on our trip in November we had the pleasure of visiting this orphanage, and it was amazing. This orphanage was in existence prior to the earthquake, and I think the lady had 6 children in the orphanage prior to the earthquake, and after the earthquake, she went down to Port-au-Prince and rounded up a lot of the kids.
Oh, and brought them up.
and
Because
brought
this
them
is
up.
the mountain where they were less impacted.
Exactly. And now, to date, there's 28 kids in this orphanage.
I see it looks like a tent right here. Is there a tent on the right? Is that what I'm looking at there?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the outside. This is the exterior of the orphanage.
So
and it's
would
a
somebody
tent
be
outside.
living in that tent? Or would it be for
No,
supplies or
it's-
something?
That's for supplies and for kitchen things, and it could also be the latrine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rooms are to the left, and the building on the left-hand side is where the rooms are.
But
And
there's
there's no
no
running
running
water.
water, and there's no electricity, but there are beds.
And there's 27 girls and 1 boy in this orphanage. And this was an amazing experience to visit this and to see these kids. And you know, all these kids, they're smiling, they have smiles on their faces, and you just wonder to yourself, wow.
So are you
how?
telling me that happiness is not directly linked to financial wealth? Happiness is a state of mind.
Absolutely.
Can we have some more pictures, Mike? Madeline?
Now,
Okay,
this
so what do
is
we have here?
interesting. This is a school in St. Roch, and you can see that it's just a temporary shelter because the school was ruined in the earthquake. This is actually 2 classes going on at the same time.
What is it, like back to back?
Right. One half of the room is facing the teacher.
It's kind of like the
one
Milton Public Schools.
Exactly. Please note the smart boards.
No, the French is facing one side, and the English kids are.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. Look how many
Yeah.
children are in that room.
Exactly.
And so, do any of the funds that, if people support the St. Agatha's St. Roch Haiti Foundation, does any of that go to help this particular group here, or is it all just for the clinic?
No, absolutely. The St. Roch Foundation not only has the clinic, it has several community outreach programs.
And
With
this
the
is one of
focus,
those?
yes, and it's with the focus of what the community wants us to become involved in. So we don't identify the need. The community identifies the need and asks us to help in impacting that.
Well, that's a lot better.
Exactly.
I've read some horror stories like
Yeah.
aid in Africa where they didn't need it.
Or they didn't need what
not
you
that they didn't
gave
need
them.
it, but what we thought they needed was not what they needed.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
it's about listening to the people
In the
Right.
community.
at
Absolutely.
on-site. All right, Madeline, let's go to some more pictures.
This is a picture of our August trip that went, and it was a group of young people with their parents. It's one of the ways that we found these outreach trips to work the best. The youth of America are fabulous. The youth and most of these kids are, they're from the South Shore kind of area, and they went with their parents. So we don't let high school kids come without the parents because
I mean, those kids didn't have an iPhone or and any of that stuff.
No,
Well,
this was the big event.
They got to know each other, the parents and the kids, because they probably had to talk.
And then they get to share what could be a heart-wrenching experience. You know, it changes your life, it changes your focus. You need to have someone that you can talk to go with you. And so they can share this with their parents. And this was something that they came upon, was this semi-pro
Is that a soccer
league.
field?
If you notice
Okay.
it, Haiti really is mountains beyond mountains, and this was just a flat layer among all the mountains, a flatland beyond all the mountains.
Let's have another picture. Here we are in the clinic.
This one was the
Oh,
actual
looking at their eyes.
two of our medical team that were part of our group, and this is actually with the twins. When the twins that I talked about were in the clinic, here was actually they were being examined.
And Mary Catherine Finn is a pediatric nurse practitioner.
Is she from Massachusetts? The one
Yes,
on the left
she
there?
sees patients in Brockton and is shocked by the poverty that she sees when she goes down to Haiti, and she continues to go down. And the other woman in the
That's
back
the
is
one in the
Patty
black,
Coughlin,
in the
right?
black, okay.
And then Patty Coughlin, who is very active in St. Agatha Parish, is the woman who's
In the back,
cuddling
yeah,
the baby behind.
All right. Another one.
And this is Paula McGrath with yet another baby. But you just see how small they are.
That's a cute picture.
Tiny, tiny, tiny. They really do not have the
But,
same advantage.
but
You look at
without the help of these foundations, some of those children won't survive, just like
Exactly,
you said. That was a
exactly.
3-year-old that died?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And this is Jocelyn Bresnahan, and she is the president of the St. Roch Haiti Foundation.
Okay.
And she goes down as a nurse practitioner. And this is our staff in Haiti.
Is that the clinic?
And that
This
is
is
our
the
clinic.
Yeah.
Center de Sante?
That means
Saint-
health center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Health Center in St. Mark. Okay.
Yeah. And this is our malnutrition clinic. All of these women have come to have their children weighed, and now we actually have developmental charts, which are the same ones that you take your American child to, and the pediatrician marks off their height and their weight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they've developed a lesser curve for those in Haiti, but it has made a difference that these mothers realize where their children should be, and that we provide
So you're educating the mothers so that they can recognize.
and we're giving them vaccinations through the Ministry of Health, the Haitian Ministry of Health. We're coordinating with them.
Is there a
and we give
problem with
them
malaria there at all?
Yes,
It's the mosquitoes are a
yes,
problem.
yeah, absolutely.
Mosquitoes kill more people in the world than any other animal.
Yeah, yeah.
or
And
creature.
then this is me sitting there with my closest friends, and we're having
That's
a
you?
meeting. Yeah, I know, pretty scary. And
Your hair
we're-
was red there.
It was, and it might be a different color next week,
I love it.
And we were having a meeting about the
Now,
microloan
was this before
programs.
the earthquake or after the earthquake?
This is after the earthquake, when we restarted the microloan program.
So you've been
Because-
involved with the microloans too. So saying this foundation also deals with the microloans?
Yes.
You don't
yep.
use an outside
No.
group, okay.
No.
All right, well, we're running out of time, so we got a few more slides, but I just want to remind, this Father Casey.
Here's Father Casey.
Father Casey,
Okay.
yeah. And this is the
I never
porch
heard
of the
anyone
clinic.
say a bad thing about Father Casey.
You can't.
No.
And if you
Yeah,
ever went on one of these
absolutely.
trips with him, you'd say even more nice things.
Yeah.
Well,
He's an
let's
amazing
just
man.
remind the folks what we're talking about. We have the St. Roch Haiti Foundation, advancing maternal, newborn, and child health, sponsored by St. Agatha's Parish. There's going to be a gala auction and reverse what's a reverse raffle?
This is a fabulous raffle for those of us who are losers. If you've never won anything,
If you
get it.
are a loser,
If you have never won anything, the reverse raffle is the way to go. Because
the losers win and the winners
last
lose.
ticket drawn is the
winner.
winner.
Oh.
And we give consolation prizes every 25th ticket
This is
pull.
a sick group. Okay, and 500 tickets only, because
Like-
that's all the place will hold. The neighborhood club in Quincy.
And the prize is $10,000
Is it 10,000?
$10,000.
The last person standing, right?
for the
with
last
ticket.
person drawn.
Okay, and tickets are $100, only 500, and that includes a light buffet and the raffle ticket. So while we're winding down the show, let's go through a few more of those pictures if you have them there in the back there.
And you can purchase the tickets on our website,
Okay.
stroch.org.
StRoch.org. Is there a link from the St. Agatha's website
Yes,
also?
yep.
So and that's what's St. Agatha's website?
St. Agatha, yeah, stagathaParish.org. And it might be St. Roch Haiti.
Are there any more pictures back there in the studio, Mike?
This one is the founder.
Oh.
And this is Ralph Stowe, the founder.
He's the guy from Hull?
Hull.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's still actively involved?
absolutely, yes. He's
Okay.
actually leaving tomorrow
Oh,
for
good.
Haiti.
Is he really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when someone goes on the group to stay, where do you put the volunteers up?
We stay in a small dormitory attached to the clinic.
Any running water there?
Yes, there is.
Oh, so, hey, well, you got to get people to come down and help, right?
Right.
Okay. Are there showers?
There's a dribble.
There's a dribble. You
There's
have to
a
use
dribble
like
of
the pod
cold,
and you
there's
throw it
a
over your
dribble
head?
of room temperature, sun-warmed water.
Sun warm.
So if you're the first person in, you might get a little bit of a warm shower.
Okay.
After that, it's a cold one.
It's a cold one. A nice
The-
And
cold
lights
dribble.
out, well, there's no lights to turn on, right?
Right,
Right.
exactly.
So
Except-
what time do people go to bed at night? From that, when you're volunteering, when you go down?
When the generator runs out of fuel, which is normally about 9 o'clock or 9:30. The
But when there are
generator,
people waking you up at 4:30 for patient care.
Are you looking for volunteers to join, also to go on these trips down there? Are you looking for that or not?
absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
What does that entail?
It entails getting to know about the foundation, coming up with the funds to pay your own way, and getting there with the group. The group is led by people that have been there before.
Is that a bit of a fundraiser thing? People, by having people come down, do they
No.
like charge extra to
No.
raise money that way?
No,
That's not.
no.
No, it's your airfare plus $200 for your ground, so that's your food, your transportation, and translators.
And that lovely king-size suite.
And the lovely suite, it's a beautiful place. You have a lovely cot,
Yeah.
and you can bring your own mosquito net.
And you appreciated your bed when you got home, didn't
I
you?
That's for sure.
All of a sudden, that was
absolutely
a
did.
little more comfortable than it had ever been.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been, folks, if you just tuned in, I'm here with Maureen Ellis, and what's your name over there from Tipperary? We got
Jerry
Jerry
McGrath.
Jerry McGrath. That's right, Jerry McGrath, and they have been down to Haiti with the foundation from St. Agatha's, helping the folks down there, and they're continuing to help encourage people to give money and support this global outreach ministry. It's glad to see the different churches in Milton doing things around the world, not just here in Milton, even though there's a need everywhere. But it sounds like they've kind of focused in this, they've made this one of their priorities. And it looks to me like it's changing some of the St. Agatha's parishioners' lives, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
How many people
Absolutely.
from St. Agatha's have actually been down to St. Roch, would you say?
It's hard to put a number, but there's quite a few.
Quite a few.
Over the years,
Yeah,
there's
it could be
quite
over
a few.
30 now.
Right.
Yeah, quite a
Very
few.
nice.
Yeah.
And
Well, I wish you
it's
lots of
amazing.
success. That's February, what do we say, 9th?
February
7th.
7th.
February 7th?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for being on Talk of the Town. And folks, get in touch with these wonderful people, Gerry and Maureen, and get yourself some tickets and see what you can do to make a difference in some people's lives.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Brian. Thank you.
Thank
so
you
much,
very,
Brian.
very much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, this has been another exciting edition of Talk of the Town, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next show. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.